Mark Carney, Trudeau's money man, globalist, China's pal. Weeks in, he jets to Beijing, scores a $250 million loan from their state bank. 11 MPs tied to Beijing. Carney's crew says nothing, selling us out. Foreign cash, secret deals. Carney's Canada.
So I'm very pleased to be joined by our second guest of the evening, very, very special guest here on the program. And I'm talking about Ana Poilievre. Ana, welcome to the Juno News Election Night.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
It's great to see you. So how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling very good. I think that my husband and the entire Conservative Party of Canada ran a very good campaign, and I feel very good about it.
So I'm just wondering, when you first met Pierre, when you went on your first date, did you ever think that you would be here on an election night in the situation that you're in right now?
Yes and no. No, because it's definitely not just with Pierre, but with me. My background is, Pierre and I, we come from very humble beginnings. So everything feels surreal. At the same time, I would say yes, because I've always believed in the potential of Pierre. So in that sense, I'm not so surprised. So it's good to be here.
Well, it's funny because there was a feature in a magazine from like 25 years ago when he was a 20-year-old young man talking about what he would do if he was prime minister. So I guess he was one of those people that wanted to be prime minister from a very young age. So why don't you just tell us about your day? What have you done so far? I presume you voted today, or did you vote in the advance polls?
We voted today. So this morning, well, first of all, we got home last night very late. So this morning, we woke up very eager to see the children for the first time in about 2 to 3 weeks. So we spent time with the kids before they headed to school, and then we went to vote. And after that, we just went to see our team in the war room to, thank them for the hard work. And then it's been rather a quiet day after that. It's like the eye of the storm, where it's quiet. There's nothing much for us to do. It felt a bit weird. But we're in a hotel room, and we're going to be with our children, Pierre and I, just the four of us, quietly awaiting to see what Canadians are going to choose for this election.
Well, what a tremendous campaign, and what an experience to get to travel around the country, see every part with your husband in this role and with your children too. I have to say, Ana, it's brought me a lot of joy to see your children on the campaign trail. And, I caught an interview that you and Pierre did where I think your son would see the people lining up to the rallies and say, "Oh, those are daddy's friends."
Yes.
Isn't it wonderful to have children to sort of like take you away from the stress of politics, because you spend time with them, you see the world through their eyes, and it's a great way to sort of break up the stress of politics. How's it felt to have them around?
Absolutely. I think it was a very natural decision for us to keep the family together as much as we could. It's something, it's also a value that I want to pass on to the children, that we're a tight family, and whatever one of the family members chooses to do, we tackle it as a team. And so that's been really wonderful to do. And, they're very young. So I don't know, as you know, our daughter Valentina, she has special needs. So she's nonverbal. So we don't really know what she's taking in. And Cruz is 3 years old. But we believe that, one day they will remember, they will talk about this experience. And we're going to be very glad that we decided to bring them on board with us.
Well, it's just such a nice relief. Like, even for me, and my life is 1/10 as demanding as yours. Sometimes you have a hard day or a busy day, and you go spend time with the kids, and it's like, all the stuff, all the politics, everything that might be happening online just kind of disappears, and there's such joy in being around children. So it was really nice to see them.
It always puts things into perspective, whatever you hear, like, do you tune off the noise right away, because it put things into perspective that what truly, really matters is our family and, the future of our children, which is our purpose and why we do this as well, for everybody else's children too, as well.
Well, exactly. I think so many people were casting their ballots today, thinking about the future, thinking about young Canadians. And it's so interesting to see, I think my whole life in politics, there's been like an adage that if you're conservative when you're 20, you don't have a heart.
That's right.
But if you're not a conservative by the time you're 40, you don't have a brain. And
Yeah.
yet in this election, it seems that older Canadians are the ones that are voting, or at least if you believe in the polls, might be leaning more towards doubling down on the last 9 years, and it's conservatives the younger generation, the under 34 votes. So tell me a little bit about how you think the Conservative Party and Pierre Poilievre have been able to capture that younger crowd and that younger vote in this election.
I think it sums up to the word hope. My husband has restored hope. We have an economy that has been weakened. And if you don't already own assets that inflated through inflation, then you're really, really starting behind. And so that's what happened with our youth. Our youth don't own homes. They're dreaming of owning a house. And so they're starting at life really, really way far behind compared to our parents. And Pierre is restoring that hope. But, it goes beyond the economy. It goes with crime as well. I think that this generation, children, they can't play outside like the way we used to. I don't know about you, Candice, but I remember at the time that we had no cell phones, no nothing. We could play outside, go to the park, and just tell mom and dad we'll be back at 5 p.m. right on time for dinner. And our parents didn't have to worry about that. I don't think that parents today can do that. And so we see that big gap. You see that our youth and young parents, they're thinking about that a lot. And my husband has restored a lot of hope.
Well, he's one of the only ones that is willing to talk about these issues, is brave enough to talk about them. I mean, I have to tell you, Anna, everywhere I go, people are talking about carjackings and home invasions. Those are things that I never would imagine would happen in Canada. Those are the kind of things that I imagine might happen in South America or like South Africa or something like that. The fact that that has become like normal, shockingly normal in and around Toronto is just so outrageous. The fact that that wasn't the number one campaign issue is still, unbelievable to me. But it was fantastic that Pierre was the one that was talking about that, and early too. He's been talking about this issue for a very long time. I mean, how do you feel about the rising crime levels in Canada?
Well, you're absolutely right. This is something that you would see in South America. I was born in Caracas, Venezuela, and I remember growing up, my mother will take the four of us kids, and she will always tell us to hold tight to her little belt so that she can feel that all four kids are holding onto her because, children could be taken away and that level of crime. So one of the reasons why my family was looking for better opportunities and came here to Canada was because of the safety, how safe Canada used to be. And now we're in a situation where we don't really recognize the country. My father and my stepmother, they own a pharmacy in Toronto. And they have a video of four men with masks pulling into their driveway. And they were coming to do God knows what. And it's so sad, but my dad had already prepared for that, where he had a system where my stepmother can automatically lock that door. So you can just imagine the fear that my family lives under and all of Canadian families are living under. And it's just so ironic because one of the reasons why my family left South America, Caracas, Venezuela, was because of that reason. And so it's unfortunately, you're right, Pierre's the only one who's been talking about these issues. I think other parties have been trying to distract because they know that Pierre's the one who's been connecting with the real issues. He's been traveling for 3 years. So there's hope because we can bring safety back by changing our laws and giving all the tools that the police force needs. And as you know, Candice, the police associations have endorsed Pierre, and there's a reason why.
Absolutely. I just want to ask you a question about during the debate. Each candidate was asked what their sort of regret of the campaign was. And Pierre Poilievre almost got teary when he was talking about how he regrets that he can't spend more time on the ground with individual Canadians. And it seems to me that this is like one of the things that really helps him as a leader because and like you said, for 3 years, he travels and he talks to people. He actually listens. He hears about the things, that I hear about when I go out, that you hear about with your friends. But I mean, imagine hearing about it from tens of millions of Canadians all the time and being one of the first people to really understand those issues. And so I'm wondering, like, you've traveled with him and you've gone on these campaigns. I know it's hard for him to be able to leave, but like, what is it like to go to a rally with him?
Well, I was with him every single day of this campaign, and you're absolutely right when you say that my husband listens. Actually, whenever I go on my little solo tours and I give a speech and I talk about my husband, I'd like to tell people that, everybody knows Pierre Poilievre as a very good, articulate man, very good debater, good communicator. but actually his best and strongest quality is that he listens. And so he has a good pulse on what's happening on the ground, and he loves people, and it shows, because he stays after, like, for hours after rallies, so that he can hear the people, listen from there directly, and that's how he knows what's happening on the ground. And that has really created a strong movement of people that feel that have been left behind, that their voices have not been represented in Ottawa. So Pierre's bringing their voices to Ottawa rather than the other way around. And you're right. I mean, I can't even describe the rallies. I don't know if you've had the chance to come to one of those, but the last rally that we had was last night in Pierre's riding. And I got very emotional because this has been a 3-year culmination for us. And to think that it was our last rally, and being with all of the people, they share their stories, their pains, their struggles, and we're doing it for them. And it's an honor. It's an honor
Well,
for us.
what an incredible service you provided to your new adopted country, and to be on this journey with Pierre. Well, our thoughts and our prayers are with you and your family, and we're really just hoping that tonight goes well. Is there anything specific that you're going to be watching out for tonight?
I'm just going to be thinking of the people. I'm going to be thinking of the people that hugged us and with tears on their face shared their stories, and we're doing it for them. And no matter what happens, we're standing strong, and we're going to continue fighting for all of them.
Absolutely wonderful. Well, Ana Poilievre, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us at Juno News. We really appreciate it. We'll be respectful of your time. So we'll say goodnight, but wishing you all the best tonight.
Well, thank you for having me. Good night.
All right. Thank you so much.